Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Double Reward. Now, in life, we live with other people. We ask them to do things and they ask us to do things. We ask them for counsel and we ask them for guidance. But what happens when a person asks you to turn away from Allah? What happens when he asks you not to pray? Should you move away or what should you do? This surah, which we're going to talk about today, which is the second half of Surah Al-Alaq, tells us no. You should draw near and close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and refuse anyone who tries to pull you in another direction. It also tells us about how when man or mankind becomes arrogant, that this arrogance, this feeling or this thinking that I'm bigger, that I'm better, that it drives him to transgress and commit wrong against other people. Let's listen to the surah and ponder on its meanings. Now remember that we covered the first half in the last episode, and inshallah we're going to start out with the second half from the 9th verse inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أرأيت الذي ينهى عبدا إذا صلى أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمر بالتقوى أرأيت إن كذب وتولى ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية ناصية كاذبة خاطئة فليدع ناديه سندع الزبانية كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. Have you, O Muhammad, seen him who prevents a slave when he prays? Tell me if he is the one on guidance of Allah or enjoins piety. Tell me if the disbeliever denies the truth and turns away. Knows he not that Allah does see? Nay, if he ceases not, we will catch him by the forelock, a lying, sinful forelock. Then let him call upon his counsel. We will call the guards of hell to deal with him. Nay, do not obey him. Fall prostrate and draw near to Allah. Now, notice that the last verse says, or commands us to fall prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Arabic, this is called sajdat at-tilawa, or it's an instance where it is highly recommended for a person to bow down in sujood in the direction of the qibla for Allah. And if you notice, there's a little mark at the end of the verse. It looks like a small mihrab. I'm sure if you look at it, you'll notice it. That means that there is an occasion to bow down and prostrate. So the question is though, why? The reason is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want us just to listen to the Qur'an passively, just letting the words in through one ear and out the other. No, He wants us to engage with the Qur'an. So when we hear a verse that calls us to prostrate, we go down and we prostrate. And then when we hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about how beautiful paradise is, we should stop and ask Allah to give it to us. And when He's talking about the fate of the disbelievers, we should stop and we should ask Allah to protect us from that fate. And also, the Qur'an talks about many admirable character traits, like taqwa, or having fear of Allah, having love for Allah. When we hear the Qur'an talking about these traits, we should ask Allah to embody them. When the Qur'an is talking about the negative character traits of the disbelievers, we should ask Allah to protect us from them and not make us like them. Now let's practice the surah here, inshallah, all together. أرأيت الذي ينهى
أرأيت الذي ينهى
عبدا إذا صلى
عبدا إذا صلى
أرأيت إن كان على الهدى
أرأيت إن كان على الهدى
أو أمر بالتقوى
أو أمر بالتقوى
أرأيت إن كذب وتولى
أرأيت إن كذب وتولى
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية
كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية
ناصية كاذبة خاطئة
ناصية كاذبة خاطئة
فليدع ناديه
فليدع ناديه
سندع الزبانية
سندع الزبانية
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
Okay, one more time. أرأيت الذي ينهى
أرأيت الذي ينهى
عبدا إذا صلى
عبدا إذا صلى
أرأيت إن كان على الهدى
أرأيت إن كان على الهدى
أو أمر بالتقوى
أو أمر بالتقوى
أرأيت إن كذب وتولى
أرأيت إن كذب وتولى
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية
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 ناصية كاذبة خاطئة
ناصية كاذبة خاطئة
فليدع ناديه
فليدع ناديه
سندع الزبانية
سندع الزبانية
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
One more time. أرأيت الذي ينهى
أرأيت الذي ينهى
عبدا إذا صلى
عبدا إذا صلى
أرأيت إن كان على الهدى
أرأيت إن كان على الهدى
أو أمر بالتقوى
أو أمر بالتقوى
أرأيت إن كذب وتولى
أرأيت إن كذب وتولى
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية
كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية
ناصية كاذبة خاطئة
ناصية كاذبة خاطئة
فليدع ناديه
فليدع ناديه
سندع الزبانية
سندع الزبانية
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
الحمد لله رب العالمين. Burim, can you read that for us?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي ينهى عبدا إذا صلى أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمر بالتقوى أرأيت إن كذب وتولى أرأيت إن كذب وتولى ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
Okay, hold up here. The correct way to say this is ألم يعلم بأن. Okay, ألم يعلم بأن. Now remember, this is ألم يعلم بي. There's a meme, and then what sound do you hear after the meme? ألم يعلم بي. What letter do you hear after the meme?
B.
ba. Very good. So here, there's going to be ikhfa. So in order for the ikhfa to come out clearly, what you have to do is you have to part your lips. Okay? أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنْ.
ألم يعلم بأن.
No, your lips were touching. Okay, it's a little bit hard, but try one more time.
ألم يعلم بأن.
You almost had it there. Osama, can you do it for us?
ألم يعلم بأن.
No, part your lips. أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنْ.
ألم يعلم بأن.
Very good. Borim, did you see that? Okay, try it again.
ألم يعلم بأن.
Okay, we're going to have to work on that. It's okay. Go ahead, keep reading. Can you finish the verse? أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى.
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى.
يَرَى.
يرى.
Okay. Abu Yusuf,
Yeah.
can you pick up?
Yeah. From the beginning?
No, from أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ. From أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ.
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية ناصية كاذبة خاطئة فليدع نادية سندع الزبانية كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
كلا لا تطعه.
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب
لا تطع.
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب.
Okay, very good. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. That's enough inshallah for now. We're going to come back with أحكام التجويد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The Philosophy of Islamic Law, a program for restoring belief and trust within Muslims' mind and heart, and for re-establishing a true concept about Islamic rules for others.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a special rule in tajweed. And in order to explain it better, let's think about how we write sentences in English. When we write a sentence in English, we start out the sentence with a capital letter, and then we have a comma, and then we have a period. And we have all sorts of punctuation marks. These punctuation marks govern how we read the sentences. Now, I remember when I was little, sometimes I would throw these out, and my teacher would get very mad. And in Arabic, we have the same thing. We have a kind of punctuation system, and if you throw these out, or you ignore them, or you don't follow them, your tajweed teacher will also be mad. So in tajweed, we have a special way to end our sentence, a special way of putting that period. And that is, if the last letter of the sentence ends with a fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma, we don't pronounce it. We pronounce that last letter as though it were sakin. And that brings closure to the ends of the sentence. It makes the person who's listening with his ear feel, yeah, I feel like this sentence is finished. Now, let's look at some examples that will illustrate the point that we're talking about. The example that you see is كيف فعل. Now, suppose that I was reading in Surah Al-Fil, and then I got to the word كيف, and I just ran out of breath. After doing some mudud and all of that, I had no more breath, and I wanted to stop at that word. What would I do? Now, of course, you can see that fatha on top of the fa. But remember what we said about ending your sentences. When you end your sentence, you have to end it with a harf, or a letter that is sakin, that doesn't have a fatha or a kasra. So we'll say كيف instead of كيف. Is that clear?
Yes.
Let's look at another example that will bring it home more clearly. You got another two words from Surah Al-Fil, بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيل. Now suppose that you look, first of all, notice that ba in ashab. you notice that it has a kasra on top of it. Now suppose for some reason I didn't take a deep breath when I started out with, or my breath is short, or whatever, I wanted to stop at the word ashab. So what I would do is, I wouldn't say bi ashabi, and then move on to the next word. I would say bi ashab. I would take my breath, and then I would move on to the next word. So that ba has a kasra on it, but we're pronouncing it like it has a sukoon. So this sukoon has a special name. It's called a sukoon al-arid, or temporary sukoon. And it's called temporary because we only pronounce it when we're stopping on that word. Let's look at some more examples that will illustrate this more clearly. This next sentence is pronounced إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ. Let's look at that word Allah. Now if you notice that there is on top of the ha a dhamma. So remember when I pronounced it I said إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ. Remember? I had that dhamma sound and then I kept going. But suppose that when I got to Allah I ran out of breath. Or suppose I wanted to emphasize some meaning and I wanted to bring out some shade of the verse that you can only see when I stop there. Then in that case I would say إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ. Notice I didn't pronounce the dhamma on the ha. And this letter in this case is sakin, and this sukoon is temporary because we only say it when we pause on the word. Let's practice that together. Repeat after me. إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ.
إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ.
Okay, that is in the case where we continue. Now let's see how we're going to pronounce it when we stop. إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ
إِلَّا مَا
شاء الله
إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ.
إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ.
Okay, let's move on to another example. وَاسْتَغْفِرُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ.
واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم.
وَاسْتَغْفِرُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ.
واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم.
Okay, now I'm going to say it, but I'm going to pause. Don't pick up until I'm finished with the whole clip. وَاسْتَغْفِرُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ.
واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم.
Okay, very good. Osama, did you feel that you were able to pick up with your ear the difference between those two pronunciations for Allah?
Yes.
Okay, how did we pronounce it when we were reading it all together without stopping?
Wastaghfirullah.
Wastaghfirullah, exactly, fantastic, very good. And then when we paused on Allah, what did we say?
Wastaghfirullah.
Excellent, very good, with sukoon. Now, the ha still has a fatha on it, but I'm pronouncing it with a sukoon because I'm pausing. That's why it's called temporary sukoon. Okay? Now, very good. Now that that's down, that's very important. Let's look at another. In the same example, look at the second Allah. Okay? Now, how is that pronounced? Read that for me with the mark on the end.
Inna Allah.
Good, excellent. Now, suppose you were going to stop at Allah in that case. What would you say?
Inna Allah.
Good, excellent. Let's try Ghafurun. How would you pronounce it if you were going to stop on it?
Ghafur.
Excellent, very good. So suppose, Osama, you were reading this verse, and then when you got to Ghafur, you just, for some reason, you ran out of breath, or maybe, this wouldn't be the place, but maybe you wanted to, accentuate some aspect of the meaning, so you stopped there, so you would say Ghafur. Okay? But if you were going to keep going, you would say Ghafurur Rahim. Excellent. Okay, Now, the reason why we introduced this kind of sukoon, this temporary sukoon, is because there is a rule of tajweed that is dependent on it. Whenever you have this temporary sukoon, and you have an alif, a waw, or a ya, you must elongate your voice. But this elongation is flexible. You can elongate for 2 instances, for 4, or for 6. To really drive this lesson home, inshallah, we're going to practice with 6, inshallah, even though you can do it for 2 or 4. Let's look at the example that's coming up, which is Ar-Rahman. Now, Abu Yusuf, what do you see on the noon?
On the noon, I see a dhamma.
A dhamma, okay. But since this is a complete verse, and when we read it, we stop at the verse, and it's kind of like a complete sentence, we don't say Ar-Rahmanu. We say Ar-Rahman. So let me ask you a question. What's the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahmanu?
The difference is because in the first we have no vowels, and the second we have the vowel.
Exactly. In the first one there's sukoon or no fatha or no kasra or
no
dhamma.
vowel, and here we have a vowel.
A vowel, which is a dhamma, a fatha, or a kasra.
Yeah.
Very good. So in this case, we can elongate it 4 instances. So repeat after me. Ar-Rahman.
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 Okay, repeat after me. Ar-Rahman.
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 Okay, let's look at the next example, which is Allama al-Qur'an. Repeat after me. Allama al-Qur'an.
Allama al-Qur'an.
Allama al-Qur'an.
Allama al-Qur'an.
Burim, what do you see on the noon there? In the word Qur'an?
Fatha.
Fatha.
No.
Now, why didn't we pronounce that fatha?
Why do you pronounce it?
Why didn't we pronounce it?
Because we stopped.
Because we stopped.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, suppose if I went into the next verse, I would have said, Ar-Rahmanu allama al-Qur'ana khalaqa al-insan. I would have pronounced that fatha. Okay, let's move on to another wonderful example, which is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Repeat after me. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Now notice that we elongated the ya in Rahim because there was that temporary sukoon. Now that sukoon, there's a mark on that meme, but because we're stopping, we're not going to move on. There's that we pronounce it as though it were second, and in that case we had to elongate it. So alhamdulillah, that wraps up this rule, and inshallah try to look for instances for it in the Mus'haf and try to get it down pat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Until next time.